right, well, thank you for everybody for taking a look at this video, joining us here today. Today we're going to kind of the agenda, the order of events. We're going to go through a little bit about INVETS, talk a little bit about Indiana, and then we're going to dive into the meat of our discussion and talk to the folks at Artisan Electronics about their company, who they are, what they do, and some of the opportunities they have. So we'll go ahead and kick it off. First, quick background about INVETS. We're a couple years old now, 100% veteran run. We are basically the top of the funnel for any veteran service transitioning service members, military spouses that are interested in employment, resources, connecting with communities throughout the state of Indiana. So we've got over 200 employers in our network. Throughout the state, there's over 85,000 open positions. There's still, even despite COVID, a demand for talent across the state, companies trying to find veterans. And some of our key industries we support are manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, and technology. We work with a lot of different other veteran service organizations as well. So please feel free to use us as a resource in connecting with those organizations and figuring out, how we can get your needs best met. All right, so real quick, let me talk a little bit about our website. So we've got a great team at INVETS. It's a relatively small team, and we leverage technology as much as we can to try and get the most, bang for our buck in terms of value that we provide to veterans. So if you check out our website at invets.org, that's invets.org. It's a screenshot of our home screen. You can go and there's a lot of content to let you explore different communities, different career pathways, industries within the state of Indiana. And there's a lot of employer pages as well, where you can go in and learn about specific companies, who they are, what they do, and what jobs they currently have open. So our general process, we encourage every veteran to go in and create a profile. This puts you on the radar of employers across the state. You can upload a resume, talk about your military background, civilian background, kind of make yourself available. And then I'd recommend diving in and checking out the different careers that are currently open. There's a job board that we have that shows all current job openings from our employment partners. And when you do go into those jobs, there will be a link to go apply for jobs through that company's website. When you do, please make sure you tell us you applied. So that's step number 4. When you come back to our website from applying, you should get prompted with a question, did you apply? We highly recommend you tell us if you did. That allows our team to follow up on our end. It also pings that employer to let them know that a veteran applied for that job. All right, from the careers portion. So I know when I got out of the military in 2015, I was a grunt, came from the infantry. I didn't know what in the world I wanted to do on the civilian side, right? So we've tried to do a good job on our website of breaking down these key industries into the relevant facts. How much are you going to make, not only in your entry-level job, but long-term, what key career pathways exist within an industry? What are your different choices? What do those roles entail? And importantly, what steps do you need to take to be successful? So does the career path that you want require education? Do you need to go get a certificate, a degree to be successful? And then what specific employers do we work with that have those career pathways within their company? So we try and provide the full pipeline, the full pathway to landing your ideal career. But it takes you diving through that website and really digging around to make it happen. So we talked to, I mentioned employer profiles. So this is just a snapshot. This is Allison Transmissions. You can see they've got photos and videos and current job openings, career pathways available. It shows you where in the state they're located. So I know some of you might be regionally agnostic. You might not care where you end up, or you might have a very specific goal in mind. So we've tried to lay this out so you can really dive in and figure out what opportunities exist, and maybe in places around the state that you haven't thought of before. I was originally from the southern tip of Indiana, and I never even thought to look in communities that were only maybe an hour outside of my hometown that had amazing careers. I just simply didn't know about because I didn't have a place to check it out. So we've tried to create that opportunity here. Let's talk a little bit about the state of Indiana. So the state of Indiana offers some great benefits towards veterans. So whether you live here now or you're planning on living here in the future, highly recommend you check out IDVA's website. That's the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. It's completely separate than the federal VA. That's their website link up at the top of this slide. One of the key benefits that you may not be aware of is the tuition and fee waiver at state-funded universities for the children of veterans with a disability rating. So, there's nuance to all of these benefits. Make sure you read the fine print, but the general gist of this one is that if you have a disability rating, there's a good chance your kids are going to go to school completely free of any tuition or fees, or at the very least at a reduced amount, assuming you have that disability rating. So make sure you check that out and take advantage of it. Another big one that got signed in just a couple of years ago was called House Bill 1010. Our current governor, Governor Eric Holcomb, they're signing that into law. That works to eliminate any sort of state income tax on military retirement pensions. So this is a big deal for you retirees. It puts us as about half of the states in the country that tax military retirement and about half that don't. So make sure that Indiana is on the right side of that equation. The last thing is property tax deductions. Not the last thing. There's a bunch of smaller benefits throughout the state, but those big ones are the college tuition and the tax exemption. As far as property taxes go, if you have a disability, you can get your assessed value reduced. The amount of property tax that you paid throughout the state significantly reduced. And then there's also hunting and fishing license, significant cost savings if you have a service-connected disability. All of these, be sure to check out IDVA to figure out how you take advantage of them. A lot of times you have to actually submit an application to IDVA. They're located throughout the state, but their headquarters is 2 floors above us, right here in downtown Indianapolis. So if you have any issues getting a hold of them or figuring out these, and you can't get a hold of IDVA, please feel free to give us a shout. All right, so for those of you that are not from Indiana, that don't know the geographic layout, where to look for a job, our website tries to do a good job of talking about these regions. So we broke the state down into 5 geographic regions: Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast, and then Central Indiana. So today we're going to be talking a little bit more about kind of that Southwest region, that South Central region of the state. And different parts of the state have different features. All of them have population centers, places that have downtowns and all of that, and a lot of rural communities in between. One of the good things about Indiana is those two geographic areas are not that far apart. It doesn't, I'm in downtown Indianapolis right now, and in about 15 minutes I could be looking at cornfields if I want. So there's a great opportunity to live where you want to live and work where you want to work, and kind of have the best of both worlds. So I recommend checking out our different regional pages to learn more about what those different regions have to offer. So like I said, we're going to be talking a little bit about the portion of the state that's right on the border of Southwest Indiana and Central Indiana, with some of the folks from Artisan Electronics. So let's see, let me get out of this. And I'd like to introduce some of our guests. So we've got Greg and Heath from Artisan Electronics. Greg, you want to start off and just give us a quick introduction of who you are? And
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Wes. Like he said, my name is Greg Sapp. I'm the Vice President here at Artisan Electronics. Artisan, we were founded in 1996, coming up on our 25th anniversary. And we're a professional services firm supporting mostly Department of Defense related programs and projects. We're located in Southwest Indiana, like Wes said. We're actually right outside of the Naval Surface Warfare Center at Crane, Indiana, largest naval installation, without touching an ocean. We support a lot of Navy and Marine Corps programs here. We also do work for some Air Force and Army commands, and we do quite a bit of work in a couple of different areas related to electronics, related to cybersecurity, and the technology that our warfighters use every day. So I think the veterans that might be watching this video are going to be the ones that we're going to be the most active pursuing and trying to get to come work in our company, because you already understand the technology, you understand the acronyms and all the good things that go along with supporting the Department of Defense. So we are a small company, so it's got a feel of kind of the mom and pop organization, but we are growing, we're professionalizing ourselves. My background, I'm actually Air Force myself, so I kind of help to grow the company in a way that feels like a military unit. So the one thing I would say to any veterans that are considering looking at Artisan for a career outside of the uniform is when you come here, you're going to feel like a lot of what we do is an extension of the best parts of the military. We did take an opportunity to carve off some of the red tape that we didn't like from the military, but we do have a great culture here. And with that, I want to tug in here Heath Murray. He's our IT cybersecurity lead, and he's also our big pusher for culture improvement. So Heath.
Everyone, as Greg said, I lead the IT and cyber team here at Artisan. So we are the newest addition to Artisan. Well, Greg said primarily we are engineering and electronics. The cyber team has been here for about 3 years. I've been leading that since day one. We've grown from 0 to 20 in 3 years, which is pretty awesome. And one thing, talking about the culture, is when I came here, I've been here, 2017, is Greg and the team have been really big on that culture of growing and making our teams, family first. And we can say that honestly. I hate the phrase, I have an open door, but it's true. We make sure that we promote within, we push within. We try to have a good time when we're not locked down. We have weekly, monthly lunches, happy hours. And those aren't just, just to do it. We actually enjoy getting together with our teams. We are very selective of our teams. We take great pride in the value of building our teams all across all divisions. We try to grow exponentially, but correctly. And with that, we believe that comes with hiring the right people for that. And everybody here wants to be here. We offer $3,000 a year in tuition reimbursement. We want our team members to grow professionally and personally. Greg does a great job of putting our teams in with personal soft skill growth classes. We pay for the hard certifications as well in college. So we really want to grow well-rounded people. And we want to enjoy people working at Artisan. And I think that reflects in our culture. 2 years in a row, we've been voted one of the top small businesses to work at in Indiana, 2019 and 2020. That's something that we take great pride in. Because and Greg, you can correct me, but that comes from reviews from our team members, benefits, all that type of stuff. And the thing we're most proud of is when we get to hear that feedback from our company and our team members anonymously. It's not ran by us; it's ran by an independent party. So, growing that and hearing about that type of culture and then what we've cultivated means a lot. And that comes from the top down, from Greg and from our other senior managers. If we didn't have their support to grow our team, then we couldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a pretty well-known saying around Artisan is that, we hire people and not resumes. We can plow through 100 resumes and probably find 100, qualified on paper individuals. But when we bring those folks into our doors and we have the conversations, whether that's, physically here in the offices or if that's virtually, we're looking for the right cultural fit. We want to find people who can come here, who can enjoy being here, who can put their best foot forward and add value to our team. I think a lot of veterans can relate to there are times where you can be doing the job you love to do, but if you're doing it with the type of people who don't want to be there or have an attitude problem, if you will, it can make the whole unit suffer. So, Artisan, we're very selective of who we bring in, not necessarily because of their hard skills, but mostly because of their culture and how would they fit in with our team environment. So we're very selective in that regard.
That's awesome. Do you mind, Greg, talking a little bit about, I know you guys gave a brief overview of what you do, electronics and cybersecurity,
Sure.
But talk a little bit about what that looks like on a daily basis, and then what specific skills are you looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were actually, we're doing a big veterans hiring campaign right now. So Artisan has recently won several large contracts. We're going to be doing things related to, on the Navy side, we're doing a lot of radar engineering work, and we're doing radar installations on ships, and we're doing radar repair work. So we need those kind of people that can come in and help the Navy stage a new radar system, test it here locally at NSWC Crane, get it logistically out to a coast somewhere where those ships are, install that thing and test it. So that's a lot of what we're looking for currently. We also do a lot with the Nav Air. So we test a lot of weapon systems that fly on airborne platforms. There's a large depot repair center here at Crane that we actually help to support quite a bit. So we either do a lot of engineering test development around those weapon systems, and we also have a big group of technicians who troubleshoot and repair weapon systems to go back into the fleet's use. So that's the type of electronics and radar skills we're looking for. Again, we also do a ton on the IT cyber side, and Heath can explain a little bit of those IT cyber skills a little bit better than I can. So Heath.
Yeah, absolutely. So we run everything from tier 1 service desk to tier 2 system administration, server administration, all the way up to tier 3 senior network and senior system administrators. We work a lot in the DoD networks, especially the Navy networks, being here at NSWC Crane. So we are always looking for veterans, and I know a lot of experience we're looking for are either coming from candidates who are currently working in DoD or veterans who worked on these types of networks in their service. So a lot of the technical skills are only in the applications are only held on classified networks, that type of thing that you can't get in the commercial world.
Sure.
So we are always looking for anyone with those high-level certifications. Basically, on one of our current contracts is a minimum of Security Plus certification, but we are always or a 4-year degree in a IT or cyber-related field. However, with those certifications, and you can ask my IT team and Greg, is I'm kind of always on them to utilize our tuition reimbursement to get a certificate a year, or at least start another sort of college class per year. Because anybody in IT or cyber knows that if you stay stagnant, you quickly get left behind. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing we like on our IT team are the people and candidates that are like, okay, I know this now. What can I learn? What can I be taught? I really like cyber. I want to go into that. I really like software development. How do I get there? So we really push forward on a lot of those cyber and IT contracts is speaking with our team members and saying, okay, you've been here a year. What do you want to do now?
So let me ask you this. If I'm, let's rewind me back to 2015 when I got out with zero experience or credentials, but I want to go into cyber. What would you recommend? What programs, institutions would you recommend diving into? I know you guys are located right near IU. I know, Ivy Tech and others have a lot of training going on down there. Are there any certain programs that you would recommend somebody go into if they want to make themselves more marketable?
Yeah. So, Greg, I'm going to take this one starting off, and you could probably drop in on the engineering stuff later. But one thing, Wes, we've intentionally done is build personal relationships with various colleges around Indiana. We won an award earlier this year with Ivy Tech Community College out of Bloomington for employer academia agreement. I don't think that's the official word, but we basically great teamwork with us and Ivy Tech, and we've helped build some boot camps for Security Plus. Those are expensive. Ivy Tech through that hosted that for free for a few of our candidates, our interns. So to go back, Wes, and say 2015 is we would love to sit and chat and say, hey, if you want informatics, IU, if you want engineering, Purdue, if you want associates to start out with, Ivy Tech, and we work a lot with WGU out of Indiana. It kind of depends on what the candidate where they want to go. And one thing that Greg and the rest of our team is we may say, hey, look, we don't have what you're looking for right now. Let's stay in touch. And here's who we can connect you with at Ivy Tech. Here's who we can connect you with at IU. And that's something that Greg and I both, we've both been in the job hunt process, and it's hard. And if somebody's willing to put that time out and connect and work, we've hired people, a year we've worked with them, Greg, working with them on certifications or finishing a degree, and now they're part of our teams. So there's a multitude of places we could send 2015 Wes to if, unfortunately, you don't meet a contractual requirement. We could say, hey, start here. Let's work, and we build that relationship, and you never know what pops open. Maybe an opening spot opens with somebody that has 0 to 2 years experience, and we're like, hey, 2015 Wes, you had a great attitude. What do you think about working service desk and starting there? We can get you on. We can get you a clearance, maintain that clearance. Then we can pay for your certifications to move up through the ranks.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on a point there. So, the 2015 Wes, the most important thing to him is his network. And that's what I love about this IN Vets. You guys are deliberately connecting these transitioning veterans into a great, robust network of opportunities. And that's what I think a lot of us as veterans coming, out of service and looking for jobs just need. We need to find, how do I plug into an existing network where someone can give me a little bit of guidance and mentorship, or point me toward the areas that I need to be looking at. And that's what I love about INVETS, and that we're proud to be partners with you guys in what we're doing here. Looking forward to doing that even more.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other groups that you'd recommend? Any other groups that you guys coordinate with, either in the the immediate geographic area, or if I'm a veteran getting out, any groups you'd recommend connecting with other than INVETS?
Well, definitely I would start with INVETS, because I'd say they're probably the best, right, Wes?
Sure.
No, but there are such a great veteran resource ecosystem here in Indiana. All of the major universities have awesome veteran transition offices that you can go into, and they'll give you a complete rundown of all the programs that they support. We've been involved actively with the IU and Purdue, transitional offices a lot. We've actually helped to develop some DoD-specific curriculum into their existing programs, so that way people coming through could get a little better understanding of what to expect in the DoD side. And also veterans who take those programs feel a little bit more at home, because they understand how their veteran experience translates into that real world training.
Very cool.
One more group we could work into that is, if somebody's looking more at the entrepreneurial side, the Defense Entrepreneur Forum. We just got done with our Defense Entrepreneurs Forum, or DEF 2020. It's a national 501c3 that focuses on national security and is mainly it is all volunteer ran, active duty military, retired military, academia, entrepreneurs. While it's not a direct job networking group, there's a lot going on there, and a lot of connections all across the country. And we've really grown our footprint here in the Midwest and Indiana specifically with that.
Yeah,
very cool.
Absolutely.
So one thing I'd like to point out to, or maybe circle around to, is where you guys are located. So you guys mentioned you're just outside Crane. So is your offices technically in Odin, Indiana?
So yeah, the Odin, Indiana definitely comes up on the address when you plug us in. But we're actually located in the Westgate Crane Technology Park. So it's a technology center right outside of the Westgate of the base. There are probably several hundred defense contractors here that work in and around this technology park every day. If you go and Google Odin, Indiana, you'll be dropped in the middle of nowhere on Google Maps. But if you go plug in the Westgate Technology Park, you'll kind of see the technology hub that's right outside the naval installation.
Okay. And do you mind talking a little bit about just the surrounding area? If I'm looking to land a job in this area, what are the prospects for where to raise my family, put down roots? What's the community like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a native of this area. I grew up in Greene County, Indiana, which is just right out about 20 minutes from my office today. There's a mix of rural communities, and then there's a larger college university. IU is right up the road in Bloomington. So you can either live in a college town that has a lot of the amenities that transitioning veterans would be looking for, or you can put down roots and buy 100 acres of hunting and farm ground right around here and raise your family that way. And there's several smaller towns all around and in between. So you can live literally from more of an urban lifestyle to all the way to, raising corn and soybeans right outside your farmhouse. So you've got a little of both.
And Wes, I'm gonna share a quick story. We had a candidate a couple years ago who did end up coming on. I don't think he ended up moving out to Indiana, but he Googled us, and he's like, "Where the heck is Odin?" And he pulled up our headquarters, and it was in the middle of a cornfield. And then we started talking, and we're like, "Hey, look, we're 30 minutes from Bloomington." And we said, "Just scroll up on the map." He's like, "Oh, okay." So he saw that, and he's like, "That changes things." And I really like to see that on your website, how you guys break those down into the regions and say, "Hey, here's what's in this area." So that's the one thing I really liked off the INVETS website was showcasing the regions like that.
Yeah, and we're right outside a major interstate, I-69. So you can jump on this interstate, head north, and you're in Bloomington in 25 minutes. Head south, you can get all the way down to Evansville in about an hour 20, hour 15 if you're a little heavier footed. But
yeah, I mean, so again, I'm from the very southern tip of Indiana, and I so I might be slightly biased, but I think the portion of the state you guys are in is probably the prettiest part of the state, or at least one of the prettiest parts of the state. You know, you've got wooded hills, tons of trails. You've got, you know, if you like hunting, fishing, anything like that, that's the place to do it. And the cost of living is really good. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to make myself a little bit sick to my stomach, when I bought a house up here in Indianapolis, I looked just to see what I could buy, you know, down there, and buy some good acreage down there for what you get on 1 acre up here.
Yeah, absolutely. The cost of living is great down here, and you know, along with that, you know, we're in the uplands region of Indiana, so a lot of really good hills, a lot of good forest and woods, a lot of lakes and streams. So really good for the outdoor activities, hiking, boating. I was big into flying drones for a while, and the scenery you get from flying drones out here is just phenomenal. So.
Yeah, we've actually got a drone pilot on our staff that's taking a drone down there here in the near future.
Nice.
Just because it is so beautiful. And I think that's one thing. I know when I got out, my key objectives were to find a place where I could walk out my front door and no one would see me, you know, live in the middle of nowhere, and find an income, or at least a career pathway where I could generate, you know, a really good income for my family. And, you know, not knowing anything about finding a job when I got out, I ended up moving to downtown Indianapolis and working for a nonprofit. So, you know, I kind of missed both of those goals a little bit, at least for now. But I think, you know, one of the good things you guys have to offer from my perspective is just kind of that perfect combo that a lot of, at least me and my buddies were looking for when I got out of the Army is, you know, the choice of a small town vibe or a little bit more urban setting and a good career in a beautiful environment. So, you know,
yeah, absolutely.
You guys have it going on.
And we have many people that live in Bloomington, many people that live in and around. That some of our employees live on a lot of acres, some of them live in the small towns. So we're kind of that central spot where it's all within an easy 30 to 40 minute commute at the longest to our HQ or to Crane.
All right. So let's say somebody's watching this and they want to apply, they're interested in learning more. What do you recommend? What are the good first steps?
All right, great question. So we actually just launched a big veteran hiring ad campaign today. So across a lot of the major installations in the U.S., they'll be seeing some Artisan Electronics ads looking for veterans to come and work for us. Our website, it has a careers page, and that's, you know, artisan-electronics.com. That'll have all of our open careers. We'll have a lot of those postings going up and coming down as we're doing a lot of hiring over the next 3 to 6 months. So that, you know, check back early and often on that. And that's going to be a majority of how people can reach out. But we're on LinkedIn pretty regularly. We're on Facebook quite a lot as well. So just kind of keep an eye out for us there.
Okay. Very cool. And for anybody joining, I think you should be able to see maybe the chat over on the side, and you've got Jerry Young dropping quite a few links, links to jobs, links to all sorts of different stuff. So be sure to check that out. Any final comments?
No, just that, you know, as an organization, you know, we try to be, you know, as flexible as we can with all of the people coming on board. We train and we empower all of our employees to come in and make major impacts in our organization. And I know that's a factor of being, you know, as professional as in a military setting. You want the power to affect some positive change in an organization, and we allow for a lot of that here at Artisan. We have a lot of veterans in the company today, and looking forward to adding a lot more in the future.
Absolutely. Reach out to us.
Awesome. All right. Greg, Heath, really appreciate you joining us. Really appreciate you guys being a part of InVets. And yeah, thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Wes.
All right. Bye, everybody. Be sure to check out the website, check out Artisan Electronics, check out their profile on our site and their own website. And we will see you next time.